All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z, beloved by all. What was that?
I just touched the mic. I think if you touch...
I think it was that cord. Remember we used to have that problem? Easy.
Easy, careful.
Easy.
Listen, we're going to get fireworks going early because it's a celebration, baby. A celebration of life. Happy birthday, Gibby.
Thank you, boys.
And rumor has, per sources, special dispensation was made for Gibby to go down and get lunch whenever he wanted on his birthday.
Yes.
Which is
Appropriate.
deserved, appropriate for a man of his
Dispensation
stature.
might have come from me, strictly because it was my birthday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, baby.
Mike Nicholas, FYI, I'm sending you an email just so we're covered. All is well.
Gibby, what was your as a young boy? What was your favorite birthday? Take us down memory lane. What was the favorite birthday for young Gibby? Do you remember one that jumps out?
I think I had chicken pox one year, and like everybody celebrated downstairs while I had to sit upstairs.
Well, no,
like,
that's not the
quarantined.
best situation.
That's what I remember.
Would you have a childhood birthday that you remember as being your absolute best?
I was gonna say I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a birthday receiving the Magic Johnson Converse weapon when I was probably in fifth grade, something like that. That was a pretty big moment when that was there. I also remember my first or second
I
grade.
would go to Payless Shoe Source and get the knockoff that was made by the Payless Shoe Source brand.
Well, that's always a big deal. I was always a Payless guy. This was the first non-Payless shoe, I think, was in the fifth grade. That was the way it worked. And I do remember in second grade, like my mom invited my entire class to my house, and so like 20 kids got off the bus and made the run, and it was hyenas looking at heading for carcass. Like it was just, and everything I got ruined. I remember that. That was not a good memory.
No,
but I remember that one very vividly.
I didn't have the pleasure of having like a school birthday ever. July 4th
America
guy.
celebrates with you,
right? So definitely one of my least favorite birthday memories was the year that it was spoiled to me that the fireworks were not in fact for me. Which
who wrecked that? An ant?
The Galloways. They wrecked two things: that the fireworks
Jeez.
weren't for me, and that I did not possess the ability to blow out lights. Just a real world crashing down moment.
What's their problem
for a young me? Well, they weren't wise to.
But they just were like, no, those aren't for you.
They're like, it's America's birthday. What do you mean?
Why? Why not let a kid live?
You're right. It's America's birthday, celebrating me.
Celebrating me. You're welcome.
Yeah.
But in terms of thinking of like the best, I feel like I used to go to like a thing we called the birthday park. My mom will Nana will text. She said, "Happy birthday, Gibby," by the way, the official Nana.
Thank you, Nana.
Then she said no video. Now the video's back, so she's also very pleased.
It's good. There was something going on, but
I don't remember anything in particular as being
no gift,
the craziest one ever.
My parents took.
I remember
me
Christmas gifts way more than birthday
Yeah, me
gifts.
too. Christmas more than birthday.
Way more.
Yeah, usually like the family would get together, and it was usually like not Derby weekend, but maybe Preakness. I can't remember. There was always a horse race on. I felt like on the weekend before or after my birthday. Whenever the family got together to
probably
celebrate.
Preakness then.
I would think so.
That's in what? Is that this week?
That's this week.
That's this
so
week.
probably Preakness.
Yeah. So like everybody wanted to watch that. Like we took my parents were awesome. My mom like made every one of my birthday cakes. There was always a theme.
Well, you got to remember one of those.
Oh, I had a cowboy and Indian one that was killer.
Oh, wow.
Like with the toys, like so then you could play with them afterwards.
Sure,
like
of course.
Army guys,
That's right.
all that stuff. It was awesome. But they took me and a bunch of my friends to the fire station. I wanted to be a firefighter when I was a little kid growing up. Went to the fire station and like got to climb on the trucks and have at it.
Fantastic.
That was a lot of fun. So that my 21st birthday was memorable for a number of reasons, which we won't get into.
I got to tell you that the 20 if you're a kid out there and you feel like at that birthday you got to do what your friends tell you, you do
Wrong.
not.
No,
you do not
no,
have to
have
do
a good
what they
time.
tell you. Enjoy yourself.
The problem
Why does it have
is-
to be go to
be like let's try to
make them pat. Why do we got to do that? Can't we just get through it?
Let's just have fun.
Have a good time.
Have a good time.
Antonio Daniels was at my 21st birthday.
Well,
fantastic.
They wanted him to give me a ride home in his brand new car that he just gotten from David Falk for signing. Him. And he was like, over my dead body.
A drunken Gibby?
Yep.
Yeah, no way.
In his brand new car?
Yep.
Didn't he go like second overall?
Third?
High.
To Vancouver. To Vancouver.
That was the Michael Olowokandi draft? Do I have that right?
I believe so.
Olowokandi out of Pacific. And then
Candyman.
And then Antonio Daniels out of Bowling Green. Do I have that right?
Is that 97 NBA draft? 98 NBA draft? Something like that.
He was the 4th pick in the 1997 NBA draft.
First was Duncan.
Duncan in 97.
Duncan, Van Horn, Chauncey Billups, Antonio Daniels.
By the way, AD had a heck of a career.
He was
played like 12 years, ended up with the Spurs, won a championship.
He was picked over Ron Mercer. He was picked ahead of Tracy McGrady, who went 9th in that draft.
Yeah.
He hung around a long time. Yeah, obviously you pick a guy 4th. You hope that it's goes a little better than that. The next year was Olowokandi, 98.
Yeah.
Was the next year. So just the McGrady one, you take the McGrady one back.
By the way, this draft also in the second round had Bubba Wells going to Dallas out of Austin Pay.
Bonzi.
Bubba Wales.
Bonzi, that's solid.
Well, this was the draft of the Providence team that lost. This is right after Arizona won it all because you had God Shamgod. Goes 45. Austin Crozier goes 12 to Indiana.
Isn't it funny how you remember drafts for in my head I had the Olowokandi draft being a bad draft. Bibby goes 2.
Yeah, so that's the next year all the Arizona guys.
Rafe LaFrentz goes 3. Antoine Jameson 4. Vince Carter 5.
Yeah.
Jason Williams went 7.
Bibby was taken ahead of VC and
Antoine Jameson. Yep.
They beat him.
A guy that I think you've heard of named Dirk Nowitzki goes 9 in that draft.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce went 10. The actual Bonzi Wells out of Ball State went 11. Michael Dickerson. Let's see if there's anybody
Dickerson
else
to Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't JT go in the second round?
Yeah. Well, where's Miles Simon? He would have to.
I don't even.
Rashard Lewis went in the second round.
I don't know if Miles Simon got drafted.
Miles Simon did get drafted. He got drafted 42nd.
Okay, second
out of Arizona to Orlando.
By the way, there's somebody drafted in this other draft, the 2000 and the 97. draft, which had Duncan and Billups, McGrady, pretty good 3 All-Stars there. Brevan Knight from Stanford.
Brevan Knight.
He was not one of my favorites either.
No, I didn't like how he carried himself.
He didn't approach Meat Cleave's levels of disdain, but he was on the path.
I agree. There's something about the way that they carried themselves, those two guys, that didn't sit well with me. No. Today's the NBA draft lottery, right? Is that today? Tonight they're doing that?
Indeed.
Tonight, my friend.
Gibby, I did not live here at the LeBron draft lottery. What was that like?
I was not here either.
But you were a Cleveland native, and you had to be watching very, very intently.
It was the greatest rigged draft lottery in NBA history.
I think the Ewing one is better rigged, right? Because that's the frozen envelope, and I don't know if an accounting firm of Ernst & Young was watching over it the way they are now. I mean,
allegedly.
In those days, it was pretty loose with we're going to get Patrick Ewing to the Knicks.
I'll give you that. But that's a 1A, 1B, I feel like, because of what he ultimately did.
I think as much as I would love for the Cavaliers. I mean, they're not going to 0.5% or whatever it is tonight. 98% chance they pick 14. Like the Cavaliers are also in a position to where if they never win another draft lottery, they've already won it as big as you can win it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's many times that they've gotten lottery luck, like the Wiggins, Kyrie, LeBron.
Hold on, there was another one.
Yeah, the kid from Bennett, the kid from UNLV, Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
That was bad.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that was a great draft, though. Is that the Giannis draft where nobody? I think Giannis was in it. Do I have that right? But nobody knew Giannis was going to be Giannis.
What year was that?
16? No, it wasn't 16.
Older than that.
13. Yeah, it's a 13 draft. So it goes Anthony Bennett, Victor Oladipo, Otto Porter,
solid.
Cody Zeller, Michael Carter-Williams was Rookie of the Year. Giannis went 15th.
C.J. McCollum.
Yeah. So Giannis is the right. Gobert is in the first round of this draft. Giannis is the super duper star.
Yep.
But he was he was a skinny kid from Greece. Who knew?
A lot of potential, but was he even going to come over here? Yeah.
14 teams passed on him. No one knew what he.
Who I thought was going to be a lot better from that draft? Ben McLemore. I thought he was a guy that was like the pro game was going to suit him so much better.
Didn't he have issues though? Like, wasn't he kind of a loose cannon kid?
Apparently.
I think he was. I was surprised Trey Burke wasn't a little better. I thought he would be able to get a shot, but he just was. He got overwhelmed, small, and just got overwhelmed, and he went number 9 overall. But there you go. So the Anthony Bennett draft, and boy, that was crazy in the moment, though. Them picking Bennett was crazy in the moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, no one had seen him play.
No, it was not good.
No, not.
Like, you left that night going, I don't know if we got any better.
What?
Did not.
We've had this discussion before. What is stopping the NFL from doing a draft lottery?
Nothing. Just that they haven't done it. That's just not how it's been done.
It just feels like something that would be so easy for them to do, that would be a ratings bonanza. And as you're losing games on the NFL Network, what's to stop it?
Nothing, and you would think that on some level it disincentivizes tanking, right?
Sure.
Because it's not a guarantee that
not
you're going to get the guy.
Every other sport does it except for baseball and football don't do it. And baseball is such a crapshoot. At the top, it's really, really hard. You're drafting guys. But NFL, it's the surest thing, I think. It feels like that draft's the surest thing. And in terms of what guys will project to be, you get the longest time to look at them. Do a draft lottery. All the teams that miss the playoffs, weight it the way they do everything else, and give you a shot at it. Wouldn't that be fun? You imagine the Trevor Lawrence year if there's ping pong balls deciding against Trevor Lawrence?
It would be a lot of fun. Yeah,
I'm in.
That would be a fun thing to watch. I don't know if it is technically a fun thing to watch, but Brown's Therapy has done something pretty spectacular.
Not surprised.
Gibbe is popping out of a cake, and he is dancing.
Oh, my. Oh,
on Chris
boy.
Farley's body.
On Chris Farley's Chippendale skit body?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Thank you
my
for the
God.
Ostertag love. Menudo Man.
That
sending
is
me
amazing.
Ostertag. Appreciate it. I think I always had a go-to meal. I'm trying to think of, memories. I was always a spaghetti and meatballs.
Prime rib.
Even as a little kid, you were prime rib?
No, it's probably pizza.
Pizza, yeah. Pepperoni, mushroom pizza.
Spaghetti, meatballs, meat sauce.
Mine, it was
you
tough,
like you like meatballs better than a bolognese?
No.
Me either.
When I was growing
Bolognese.
up, when I was a kid, yeah. I didn't. Yeah. The bolognese was not really an option. It was
it's just ground beef with.
Correct.
But it feels like then I can distribute the beef.
There was a
better
sauce,
with the noodles versus the ball. A lot of people. It feels like people in the East are big meatballs people. Where I feel like I was bolognese.
Yeah, bolognese.
Because then you can distribute.
Yeah, I mean, some years I think there was probably a meat sauce involved.
I don't remember even what my birthday meals, because remember it being a holiday made it a little bit more difficult because night was typically fireworks.
Sure.
So we weren't necessarily going out to restaurants. I'm sure my dad made me something that I liked very much, but I don't recall as a kid a birthday meal. Once I was old enough to know what I wanted, it was always a prime rib on my birthday.
Yeah, as a kid, I remember I could pick it. I definitely remember vividly, pizza rolls. The yellow
Totinos?
Yeah, those are as good now as they were then.
Yes,
I've had them for the boys a few times. Just let them cool. Have patience.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
I know.
Because they will break.
They'll take the roof right off your mouth.
They'll take it off. But
Yes.
they're as good now as they've ever been. I remember those as a snack that I would want to run back. And it was a big pizza, and that was kind of the wheelhouse on that.
Yeah.
That's where you would go. All right, so you got that. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah. You have
Thank you.
things? It feels like you have things.
Clutch Sports announcing welcome at Flash Garrett, #Clutch to the group. So perhaps Myles Garrett has new representation.
That's a pretty direct indication that he does.
It is rather.
Them announcing it.
Yeah.
Would make it feel like it does. Interesting. Let's stay there for a second. He's gotten compensated.
Yep.
Richly and deservedly.
Yep.
The next step for Myles, it feels like, in terms of what does he want to do? Does he want to be more of Duke at commercials? Does he want to be more out there? Does he like where he is now? He's a quiet dude naturally.
Yeah.
What is he hoping,
to
can
get
come
out of
from
this?
all of it? Yeah.
My guess is some more marketing would be my guess there.
Yeah, it does feel like we've been, he's universally regarded as one of the 2 best defensive ends in the league. But it's like you're waiting on that defensive player of the year and he's chasing it. He's said it.
I think that's
outwardly.
what he absolutely.
That's what he's coveting is that, and that's kind of the thing that's out there.
So his current deal with the Browns right now, he will get. Basically, there really isn't much of. This year is cap hit is $12.9 million. Next year it will balloon to $29.1 million. And then in 2024, $32 million with 23 dead cap still there. So I think he's locked in for the next, now maybe you get a restructure coming up. So he could be looking for a restructure and an extend after probably the 2023 season is when that could happen. So I think that's part of it. My guess is he's probably looking very much forward to, being more marketable and probably making more money from that way. That makes a lot of sense to me. He signed a 5-year, $125 million deal with the Browns, including a $21 million signing bonus, $100 million guarantee, an average annual salary of $25 million. Now his base salary the first few years was low. Next year it goes up to $17 million.
And by the way, that's how most of these deals are done.
That's right.
Like,
and I know people are there. People fighting about it on Twitter that. No, you don't get it. This is special just for Deshaun Watson.
No, in fact, not.
I don't think so. But
Jair Alexander
people that are very,
just
very
did the
adamant.
same deal yesterday.
You don't get it, is what he would say. You don't get it. You're biased.
You don't get it. Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Did you see, by the way, that the OHSAA had up on for vote the no name, image and likeness for high school athletes? It was voted down by a 2-1 margin, or better than that. Good.
Why don't you like that?
Why, Gibbe?
I would say keep the money out of the high school sports.
Oh yeah,
can we start like?
Really?
I feel like that goes down a whole nother road.
I think it's already been happening. It's just been happening under the table.
Yeah.
Hey, little Johnny, I'm going to get your dad a job at the school, and now you can transfer over here. Like that's all been happening.
Fine, okay, but I don't know.
All right, let's use Bootsy as the example.
I do not like where it's going.
Let's use Bootsy as the example. Okay. So let's say young Bootsy, who we talk about on this program.
Love him. Huge fan.
Huge. Let's say that he starts a YouTube channel and he becomes like a Ohio Ryan kid on YouTube and makes some cash doing YouTube.
Yep.
Is the OHSAA going to say he's ineligible to play high school sports?
No.
Because of what he is doing
they should
off
not.
of his name, image, and likeness? So why would they
Why
say
would it matter?
what's the problem? What are they worried about? There's already recruiting in high school sports.
It's already corruption.
In this state, we have private schools and public schools competing against one another.
Yep.
Regularly.
That's right.
And private wins. Go look at the state championships. Go count them. Private wins time after time after time. It's so rare that 2 public schools play for a state championship, certainly at the highest level. And so it's already happening. Why not let them?
My concern is
who's going
to they're not policing it well at the NCAA level. Let's be honest.
Well, they're not trying.
It's a mess at the NCAA level. And I think if you're going to do it, like get it together, get some rules on it, get your arms around it.
But why do we put a limit on what a human could make on themselves?
Right. If they're valuable, it shouldn't really matter what age they're valuable at. If they're valuable and there are people willing to compensate somebody for something, I don't see any problem with it. As long as it's within the law.
Within the law, for sure.
Yeah,
yes. And if you want rules, say, look, you can't do tobacco, alcohol, whatever.
Sure.
If you're under the age of 18,
right.
Fine. With kids, you can't do that. But I got a news for you. Like some guy owning an auto dealership's not going to do an endorsement with a 16-year-old. They're hesitant at the highest level. They're hesitant to do it with college kids, let alone doing it with some high school. I just don't think it's going to be as rampant as people think. There's been a few LeBrons out there, but by and large, I think it would just take everything that's been happening below the table and put it on the table.
Now, I would say, though, just thinking out loud, and I know how big, Friday night lights are here, but
Sure.
do you think, like, even in any small town, and I don't think the money's going to be huge, but any town, for example, in Texas,
Yeah.
like the kid that's the quarterback of a team that is representing that town that is good, Buddy Garrity's going to show him some love.
Buddy Garrity had a mailbox
He had it already.
all set up.
He was already doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be crazy. There may be a dozen kids in the country every year that actually make significant money, like 6 figures or above.
Yeah,
high
and I
school
think
kids.
that you're right. I think it'd be a smaller margin than people think.
Like maybe a dozen in the country.
Yeah.
So what's
And
the
recruiting's been
problem?
happening forever. I don't
I mean, I think a public versus private is a whole nother debate, but
But
That's-
that is happening.
oh yeah,
Like you're playing on a different playing field.
Is it in your mind? Does it compromise the amateurism and the purity of it?
I don't know that there's a such thing as amateur athletics anymore in this country, and I think that goes all the way down to the 2nd grade.
By the way,
There's no such
yeah.
thing.
The fact that
Well,
you're playing AAU,
like AAU is for profit.
yeah.
well, I was going to say there's a lot of paying to play. You
Yes.
have to pay to participate in the highest levels.
Correct.
As opposed to being compensated. So,
Well, the best players oftentimes are not charged to play on the AAU teams.
sure, they can get
So
sponsored.
that happens.
Right.
Or on the travel. I mean, I just use AAU because I'm familiar with that world, but you could do any travel baseball, soccer,
Oh,
all of it. It's all the
business.
same. It's all business. It's all big money.
Little Timmy's going to make it in
Yeah.
the big league if we get
Oh
him,
my God.
get him a few more lessons here or there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, and I guess I'm hesitant on it all because the NCAA, I don't think, has done it right in terms of even setting it up or putting parameters on things or trying to police things to a certain point. I mean, that's my big thing.
Here's what they did. They kicked it down the curb for a decade. They paid the president of the NCAA $3 million.
He's going away, right?
And he's going away. He did it for a dozen years. He did not do one single measurable thing to curb or to forward the organization. Not a single thing. And his compensation went up and up and up, and nobody did anything. And they were operating the Titanic, knowing an iceberg's coming and going, why bother? Let's just stay in this path and we'll enjoy our steaks because it's got a nice ambiance here in the dining room. That's the NCAA. And then they hit an iceberg, and now the damn thing is sunk. And everyone's throwing stuff at the wall trying to figure out the best path forward, and the reality is nobody has a clue how to do it. Because the only way to really do it would be to unionize and to collective bargain and salary football players and men's basketball players. That'd be the only way, if you really wanted a say in it, is split the revenue. But no one wants to do that. But the idea of there being amateur athletics, that's done. And that's done by age 8, honestly.
Yeah.
It's done by age 8. It's crazy, but that's where we're at.
That's all. I guess
I agree with you. I understand your sentiment. That,
get it right.
because it's just like the college thing. One thing I complain about on the college thing is there are no guardrails,
correct.
right? So right now it's the Wild West. Now there will be a
Yeah.
course correction there because wealthy people don't like to lose money for nothing. So like this kid who's going to make $8 million playing quarterback at Tennessee, who's okay, but he's not Trevor Lawrence. Like if he doesn't play well, is whoever came up with the $8 million going to be like, boy, I don't know if I'm going to give away that again. That wasn't a solid ROI.
No.
So I think that will course correct.
And what do you think they feel their ROI is? And I mean this sincerely. In the case of, let's take that for example. Is the ROI that he's good and he goes on to be a great player in the NFL and a brand, or is the ROI that Tennessee wins a national championship?
No, it's Tennessee wins a national championship. I'm in a luxury box saying, see him? I'm the reason he's here. I did that.
Yeah.
He's mine.
Right. So
That's
it's about
what
the
it's
school's
about
success.
the school's success. It's got nothing to do with down the road. Now it's happening in baseball where you're having actually like hedge funds and stuff invest in players, give them training, and then get a cut of their future earnings. Like that's happening in baseball. But the collectives that are happening in college football, no. This is the new booster, the new way for boosters to impact. Instead of my name's on a building, that quarterback, he's mine.
Yeah. And if you're if you want to have meetings about it and figure out the best way to do it and move forward and then there's a plan in place, I'm probably in favor. But if you're going to do it, then you better separate private and public. Because you're going to have to.
I kind of think this. Don't you think that this would put the public in some instances on a leveler playing field?
No way.
If you're in Stark County, you're Massillon or something, and you could all of a sudden start directly paying players to come play at Massillon or name, image, and likeness of it. I use Massillon as the example because they have that type of history. Right now, how do they? If Hoban wants a kid to go play at Hoban, there's a lot of ways for them to incentivize the kid to go to Hoban. Massillon has no way of going back at that.
Maybe. I just feel like there's a lot more money in the private sector.
For sure, there's more in the private schools. There are, but some of these communities have big money too that they could throw at kids. They have great resources. So I don't know. It's a messy subject, and I don't know. We'll see where it all goes. All right, we've got a lot to get to.
I just think it's one of those things, though. Once again, let it happen, and then we'll see what happens.
But that's how we got to this mess in college. Is letting just open
the floodgates
the mess?
And letting. Who's it a mess to?
The big problem with the college one is it's to the point where there's no way of policing any of it because each individual state has their own laws.
And that's how it's always been.
But they've never allowed for this. So now they've all written laws saying that a kid can profit from it, and now they're all different. So my big issue is not – I mean, to me, that's on the Tennessee booster spent $8 million. If he doesn't get his –
That's what I'm saying.
That's
right.
on him.
That's up to him.
No one else needs to protect him from himself. My issue with the college one is everybody in the sport ought to be playing by the same rules, and they're not because the individual states have set the rules. So that's the fault. I have no fault of it being Wild West and throwing money around. Let it.
Yep, let it.
But the fact that states have different rules, like in some states, a collective cannot directly talk to recruits. In other states, they can. Like they just passed. It's you can do that in Tennessee. They just passed it, I think, in Georgia or Missouri, that collectives could talk directly to recruits and negotiate with recruits. So that's happening in some states, but not all.
It should be the same.
It's got to be the same. It's got to be universal everywhere.
And I think these young men, in the case of college football, which we're talking about right now, are worth a ton of money to their respective schools. I have no problem with them being able to enjoy that because, listen, you're an injury here, an injury there away from all these things that were laid out for you not becoming reality, right?
Yes.
And it's a very violent game that is prone to many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great.
I think the biggest problem ultimately in college sports right now is the fact that there's no penalty if you want to transfer, and you can transfer.
Well, would you say the same thing about coaches, though?
Why is that worse?
Why would a kid not be given the same luxury that a coach has?
There should be a rule that if the guy who recruited you leaves and bails, then you're able to change. But
why would you say a kid? What if a coach sells a kid a bag of goods? And he gets on campus, and he's like, well, this isn't what I was told.
The perpetrator.
Perpetrator. So the kid's stuck to it, but the coach isn't?
You can transfer, but you got to sit out a year.
Why?
The coaches don't?
Kids.
I think that's made a bigger mess of the whole college situation.
But what if you go to a situation, and here's the other thing, too, you're recruiting high school kids, and should their life be determined by where they are coming out of high school? Now you have guys go to small schools, but it turns out they're big-time players, so they should have an opportunity, I think, to go to a big-time school after that, if they want to.
So they just get to ditch the school that did take a chance on them, that did want them.
Yeah.
That's life.
That's meritocracy.
And also, I think
that's the world.
The same thing would be true of the coach. If the coach is at Bowling Green and he gets offered to be the head coach at Ohio State, he should be able to go coach Ohio State, not have to sit out a year.
Hold on a second, Gibby.
Right? You wouldn't argue with that.
You come out of college, right? And you're looking for a radio job, okay? And you get one in some very small town. It turns out you're great. You're the best. And so New York calls you and says, actually, we want to put you on the Fan. Should you be stuck at that place? Or should you get to go to the Fan because you've earned it?
I mean, but that's a different that's a college athletic versus a professional
But it's
job.
not. It's
all the
it's
same.
a pro business. They're all
business.
making money.
It's a business.
You're making money. They're making money with the kids.
I don't know.
They're all for profit.
I don't agree with the whole.
I hear for the loyalty, but at the same point, like if you're a 19-year-old kid, shouldn't you be able to put yourself in the best position that you are able to be in for yourself and your family?
Yeah, but again,
Why
think
would you want him to sit out a year, though? So, like, you're great. You go right out of school, right? And let's say you go to Bowling Green and you play hoops at Bowling Green because that's where you're able to get an offer right out of school. Turns out you've grown another 6 inches. You're dominating. You are Ostertag. And now Kansas wants you to come play for Rock Chalk Jayhawk and be their starting center the next year. Should you be forced to not play college basketball for a year to get to go to Kansas?
In my world, yes.
Well, then the same would have to apply to the coaches in your world. So if you're coaching at BG and you do a great job and Kansas says we want to hire you and increase your salary from $450,000 a year to $4.5 million,
but he's already,
you got to say no.
He's at a different.
No, he's not, because they're both doing the same thing. Difference is he's getting paid, they're not. But it's all for profit. It's all for profit. Now, if you want to say
the landscape has changed.
But there's 2 sports that are for profit. If you want to do that in the sports that aren't for profit, then that's different. But same thing ought to apply. Coaches should have to sit if players have to sit. It's got to be the same.
Yeah. I just think kids.
Did we just do a 31-minute segment?
I think people should just have opportunities. It's just about opportunities.
Yes. And by the way, the risk of that, there were 698 freshmen who entered the transfer portal in basketball. 370 of them still don't have a home. So there is a big risk for them. A big risk. And they may end up not having a home. They may not be without a scholarship. So there is a penalty. It is policing itself. We hear about the best examples of it.
Right.
Absolutely. You hear the high end of it. What you're missing is that half of these kids don't find homes and sometimes go play in some place they didn't even want to play.
Yep.
So there's a risk to it, and they know the risk to it. All right. What a treat. There's a 30 minutes for the kids.
There it was.
We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Well, the Bath Authority, they're my friends. They give you the bathroom of your dreams. They can do it for you in about a day. You can transform that current bathroom into a custom bath for a spa-like experience. Let the Bath Authority make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. They have the largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. It'll allow you the ability to change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding again in about a day. If you need a tub to shower conversion, they do that. Look into the acrylic tubs. Those insulate, keep that heat in. Superior products, expert installers, simply put. And if you give them a call now, you get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399, or go to thebathauthority.com and they will take care of you. Tell them Beau sent you for that $500 off. 216-220-8399. Is this your debut, sir? Anthony Poisal?
No, last week.
Where was I? Oh, I was on.
You were
week from today.
Where were you? You were right there. Look,
it's my Beau debut. How about
it's
that?
a Beau
It's
debut.
my debut. Well, so then it is the debut.
Poisal.
Is there really a show if I'm not here?
Wow.
We'll see.
I guess it's my debut then for Beau.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Good to see you, buddy. And
see you as
finally
well.
meet you. We, with all the COVID time, haven't had a chance. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
You were keeping a close eye on rookie mini camp this weekend.
Yes,
What
sir.
jumped out?
We definitely learned a lot about the rookies. Not necessarily just from practice. I mean, it was great to see them back, in helmets and jerseys for the first time. But I would just say just learning a lot about them from their interviews. I think they all had pretty good interviews, and they were all able to share a lot about just their background, more about, why they're excited to finally be at this level and why, what kind of opportunity they kind of think they have in front of them in their rookie year. So I would say the big thing that stood out to me, right, is, Perrion Winfrey just keeps getting so much more attention. And you see him on the field and you see him in person. He is a big dude, right? And he's got all this energy, and you saw it a little bit. I mean, the practices were light and subdued, but you still see just the fire that he brings whenever he's got a helmet on. And I think come training camp, when we're finally able to go up against live battles with the pads on, like, he's going to be a guy that sticks out instantly. So I'd say I'm pretty high on him. And then just learning about the other guys, like Cade York, for example, very calm, and that's what strikes me most about him is he's calm, and you can see why. The coaches here really loved his mental makeup. He talks very, like, it's a quiet confidence. He's not boastful, but you can tell, like, when this guy steps up behind the football, he knows he's going to be able to drill that kick. And I think it's great that he's also, been able to talk with Phil Dawson already. And, it kind of feels like the one major check mark, like the biggest thing he could do since he joined the Browns is really just to talk to Phil Dawson, because you're not going to get.
For what reason, though?
I like that. I like the pushback. I'm glad you did it.
For what reason?
And this isn't necessarily, but we hear this a lot.
A lot. You talk to Phil Dawson.
But
Phil Dawson's a great kicker.
Yes.
Like, I could go out and talk to Morton Anderson. It's not going to help me be a better kicker.
I agree. Like, it's not a lot.
It's a gets us thing, no doubt. It is a pure Cleveland move.
You can't kick in the cold, and you can't really kick in the wind. You can't kick in that true Cleveland environment until the fall. So anything that Cade York does now is really just he's just going through the motions. But talking to Phil Dawson is that extra step that I think he, a new kicker who got drafted needs to do. I think talking with him could probably calm his nerves down a little bit. At least give him some advice. If he didn't talk to Phil Dawson, he wouldn't know about the flagpole, the Phil Dawson poll.
But didn't
the stadium is very different now.
It's right.
Yes.
It's different than when Phil played.
Yes.
And we're not just pushing back. We just have heard this a lot with this Dawson
I
stuff. And we
appreciate
love
it.
Phil. He was here. We've had him on. He's awesome. He's an
great.
all-time great.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
the stadium is different a little bit. I understand. I think anytime.
He last kicked in Cleveland in 2012. Okay.
Yeah. So the stadium's very, very different.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. Best kicker in franchise history.
I think
other than maybe Lou the Toe Groza.
Anytime you have what I do think is good about it, though, is anytime you have legends that are willing to talk to young
Listen
kids
to them.
and talk about what it means to play in a specific place, that's a big win.
I agree.
So
I
that
agree.
part
Yeah.
I love that part a lot. I just think sometimes in some of these conferences when we talk to kickers, we make it seem like it's just a different stadium.
Well, it's different. It's just, and it's, again, like I said, it is for use the most. It is the biggest checks the box for Cleveland that there could be. You're a kicker here. You've got to talk to Phil Dawson.
That's my point. He's got a long way to go until he really learns how to kick in that stadium. But I feel like the thing you need to do right now, when the weather's warm, when it's not going to snow, it's not even going to rain, like, just talk to Phil Dawson and see. I'm sure he's got some tips that maybe he hasn't shared with the public about, like what he does pregame or anything. So, I think that's the biggest box that he could check, and he did it. He did it in 2 weeks. So
we've got a lot of resource, like Joe Thomas, the Hoff, tremendous resource for a guy like Jed Wills. We also have Bill Callahan, and I think sometimes for former players, that's a difficult thing to navigate too. Is, hey, I'm available for you, but you also have a guy who's being paid to be your coach, and working that dynamic out, I think is always an interesting one. I think it's the perfect Cleveland movement. We've already seen Deshaun Watson out with Bernie Kosar multiple times. That's what this city's about. It's about the lineage. It's about the history. It's about acknowledging it and then trying to hope that, he can be the next Phil Dawson. And I think Cade York, very impressive guy. I'm excited to see him kick the ball. 15 made field goals, 50 yards or more in college. I mean, that's absurd that a kicker would even try 15. Right. He was 15 and 19. Tremendous.
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think he's got, the power to really kind of drive the ball through that wind. That's what you absolutely need to have. I think it was interesting that he shared, just his conversation with Phil, that he's going to have to be okay with not every single ball going through the middle of the uprights. And I just think the fact that as long as it goes through the uprights, that's the biggest part.
Aim small, miss small. I love that.
But I think the fact that he's able to get that mindset in now is going to help him down the line when it starts to get cold and windy here.
It does feel like a lot is on David Bell.
Yes. It certainly seems that way just because everybody's talking about the slot, myself included. I think he's got the right build. He's got, obviously, the hands to make that particular wide receiver position work. Just talking with him, it doesn't really feel like he feels a lot of pressure. The biggest thing he kept, saying that he needs to work on is just learning the playbook. And that come training camp, the Browns picked him because they think he's also a smart player in addition to having good hands. Like he's going to be able to get the playbook down and be able to play outside in the slot. I think the question with him is how much is he going to be able to play from the slot? It's a matter of, we'll see how much playbook knowledge he can intake in his rookie year. And but he's got the hands and he's got the route running ability to separate no matter where he's lined up on the field. And that to me is what stands out. Like that's why I really do think David Bell is going to be a very high impact player in his first year.
No doubt, and I think he'll be ready to play in the slot when I talk to him. Yeah, very impressed, quiet confidence. I think he's going to be fine. We had some people who have tweeted us, AP, asking about the undrafted free agent rookies and that we're out there at this rookie mini camp. And what I would say to them is this is a very different Cleveland Browns team and organization. It is an absolute long shot for any undrafted free agent to make this roster. It's going to be a tough road for some of the guys drafted at the back end of this draft to make this roster. That's just where we are now. But was there anybody that caught your eye? For me, it was Isaiah Weston, just because you look at him and you say, okay, that's what a receiver looks like. 6'4", can fly, big, strong, vertical speed. But it's going to be tough for these guys to make this team.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of spots, like even just looking at some of the depth spots. I mean, the only spots that you really feel like, okay, maybe there could be an undrafted rookie that fits here is just the current needs of the team, right? Edge rusher, defensive tackle, and maybe wide receiver too, like you said with Weston. But I mean, for the most part, the depth and the majority of the roles on these roster are fairly filled up. So it's going to be very hard for any of these undrafted guys to come in, and even if they look look good in training camp, like it's a tall road ahead, but I mean, you never know what can happen. Like it's always exciting whenever a team does sign an undrafted guy because they have a plan for him like this year. It's
a recruitment,
right? It's a recruitment, and you talk about other guys like Marcus Santos Silva. I think I'm really excited to see how he sort of comes together, how quickly he's able to sort of learn the ropes, and then the guy we signed, Felix Harper. You see him and. He's not your prototypical quarterback build. He's a lefty. He's a little undersized, but I mean, he threw the ball really, really well.
He just flicks it.
Yeah, he just flicks it. It looks all natural to him, and so I'm curious to see how he does too. Obviously, he's a little bit of might be a little bit more of like a long shot, but he showed a lot of good stuff this weekend.
What's next on the calendar now? Let people, in terms of the next time that these guys will be here. We know Deshaun's taking the guys to the Bahamas, and then eventually we'll come back. We'll get mini camp middle of June, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? That
used to be
like first week of June, right? And then
I think it's June 14th through 16th.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got OTAs coming up, so that'll be exciting too. But I think we're gonna just see guys just in helmets and a jersey. Really, it's in shorts. It's not going to be a whole lot. But once the mandatory minicamp comes up, that's when we'll see all the veterans back, and it'll be the first time that we can really see this team back on the field together. It'll only be for 3 days, so we'll have to really kind of seize those 3 days and keep a close eye on everybody. But I think that's when we'll really start to see this team sort of come together the way that the coaches are talking about. And I mean, I'm most excited for that. I would say the 3-day mandatory minicamp is the next kind of period that I'm sort of circling on my calendar where we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about.
If you could add players or just positions to this roster now? What do you think is the work that still needs to be done to be complete before that mandatory minicamp?
I would still like to see them maybe add a little bit more depth at D tackle and on the edge. Those two positions to me, like I mentioned
like
earlier,
Clowney and Sue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But just to have a little bit more insurance that, like, okay, when we get to week 8, when the grind of the season is really here, we're going to be fine as far as depth, but also just assuring that this is the look of the defense. There's no holes in this defense that time of year, because now that we know the schedule too. Once we get to week 8, right around that week 9 bye, it's a tough part of the schedule.
Very.
And so we're gonna have to make sure that it's the Browns are gonna have to make sure that the depth is solid at all positions, especially those ones. And Clowney does come back. It's you got to make sure you have depth behind him. And I think they really like Alex Wright. But I think you could still maybe possibly add another piece there, or at D tackle, to just sort of make sure when you get to that middle of the season, late season stretch, you have what you need to really build that run and stay strong on defense.
AP, good stuff, man.
I appreciate it, Bo.
Good
Let's
job
go.
out of you. Good talking
His
to you.
real debut.
His
it's
real,
not a show.
It's not a show. I'm not here.
The Beau debut.
Does it even happen? Come on. Tickets for all Cleveland Browns home games are on sale now. For more information, visit clevelandbrowns.com, and they will take care of you. I assure you of that. We'll go around the league coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Certainly a lot of bad advice out there about gambling, from secret methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. The miss can lose you money and get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. You know what debuted today, Mr. Zegura?
31 years ago? Gimme. I need. I'm baby stepping. I'm putting in the work. That is a Pantheon movie for me.
Why does that
Absolute
movie not
Pantheon
get rotation?
Movie. It's in mine.
What about Bob? I don't see it on the cable channels. I don't see it
I
ever
watch
served
it
to me on any of the
at least
streamings.
5 times a year.
I haven't seen it in forever.
What?
I got to see where it's streaming.
Oh my! It's everywhere. What do you mean? When you own it, it's always available to you, as I do.
All right. I just wanted to see where it's streaming.
I always come on. That was. You know what? Here's my best birthday memory. Thank you for reminding me. Best birthday memory. Had everybody over at the house. Too bad my mom's not listening anymore because she would corroborate this. Everybody over at the house, all the crew, all my boys. We have to be like, I don't know. I want to say under 10 maybe max. Mm-hmm. Everybody's over. We had a pizza screening of What About Bob. We played like in the street and whatever. It was at our house. My mom, she knows I love grapes, had put out this like platter of grapes. And I mean, it may have well have been like a bunch of vines of grapes. We're talking like there may have been 1,000 red grapes here. Okay.
My mom, she knows I love grapes.
She knew I love grapes. She was my mom. I'm her only child. She was on it. She had that. Brings out this tray of grapes. Post-screening of What About Bob? Fine film. Well, I guess the math wouldn't work. 31 years ago, you said?
Yeah.
12, maybe. I was even a little older than that. Definitely. Had to be. We end up having a grape fight. And I'm talking like probably 12, 14 kids. And it is just grabbing and free-for-all. Running around the house. Grapes are being
in the
flung
house?
In the house.
Oh, my God.
In the house. And it was
There's
insane.
no way Pedro was a fan of this.
Not happy about it at all.
No.
And he used to be. So it goes on until the grapes are exhausted. There's splats everywhere. Believe me, I did plenty of cleaning after this.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
Yes.
Some epic shots, like some right in the eyes, all kinds of great stuff happening. Pedro, I think, stuck his head in at one point, yelled, and there were like 30 grapes that came in his direction. Like, stay out of this. So when it was done, obviously, like I said, I had to do a ton of cleaning. My dad would claim for like decades after this, found another raisin. like would find
another raisin.
Yeah, the dried up grapes
dried
would become raisins all around the house. And there were like when you'd lift up the couches to do vacuum or whatever, every now and then there'd always be one. Something you'd be like, wait, how did that get there?
It's amazing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What About Bob for the kids? Check that out. Today is also the media day for Muirfield Village. Gibby, you used to go to this.
Sad. I should be playing on my birthday down in Muirfield.
You should. That would have been a wonderful gift for you.
You should be. I feel like you should be. What I wanted to say.
Come on, Sprouse. Where's my invite?
Sprousey, where's the invite, pal?
Yeah, man.
I'd put you on to promote the memorial. Come on.
Yeah, we used to. I remember seeing you down. That's before I knew you were Gibby.
Yeah.
I remember going, why is ESPN Cleveland here? And then I look at Gibby, and I went,
that's why.
We're going to play a little golf.
Fairly confident. Maybe that invite should have gone to other people, but I was the promotion director.
I think it's appropriate. I think it went exactly to the right people. They used to do a thing, and now it's the official teaching pro has made it right, but they used to do a thing where you could pick a hat. You pick any hat you want. That was part of the media thing. Like you pick a hat, they get you a polo, a hat, sleeve of balls, something like that.
I always got a hat when I checked in.
Mm-hmm. Little goodie bag.
Yeah, there was always a nice little swag bag. But the one year, like I was Skip Mossick was our captain on our team.
Yeah.
We did. It was a competition.
Skip's longtime guy behind the Ohio State football, basketball. Yeah.
Skip, the handicap might not match the actual golf. Better than the handicap.
Of course it is.
Sandbag and Skip.
Of course it is.
I hope he's listening right now.
Yeah. Much like the kid.
Yeah.
Ooh, Kid and I had an epic match yesterday.
Finish and then
we win.
Continue.
Or no. Yeah. We finished in first.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I contributed nothing on that day.
What was the prize? You had to have a nice. Had to be a nice.
We
swag
each
something.
got like $200 to the gift shop.
To the pro
downstairs.
shop. Yeah, to the pro
To the
shop.
pro
There you
shop.
go. Yeah.
I was like, all right, I got some new shoes.
There you go.
Oh.
I got a new polo.
Love a
Yeah.
new shoe.
One year they did drivers. They give you a driver.
Oh, I was not privy to that.
Yeah, they give
But
you
everybody in the
drivers.
room was like, who are these guys?
That's right.
And I'm like, I'm the guy that's going to the pro shop to
Going to
not
the pro
spend
shop,
my own
baby.
money. How you doing?
Beautiful, beautiful. How'd it go with you and the sandbagging kid?
Oh, it was a good match. Ended up dead even, all square. Kid won the front nine, played lights out.
Of course.
Kid shot 41 on the front.
Of course.
Beat me 3-1 on the front. Back 37 for me. I beat him 3-1 on the back.
What do you shoot on the back?
46. 87.
Again. What? This is
I feel like the kid's like a
Sand
7
bagging.
handicap.
No.
And
He
cards
is,
like a 12.
no, the kid is when he like on the front, no doubles. When he plays like that, he's very like he and I yesterday as a partnership. My only bad holes, he was very good, and his only bad holes, I was very good. We didn't both have bad holes together, so we would have been a very formidable duo yesterday. And in fact, we had somebody who was going to play with us. Reams was supposed to play with us. He bailed, so I sent him the Venmo. I said, "This is what you would have owed us had you participated today." But it was a good match. Came down to 18. I needed to 2-putt from about 50 feet. I was on the front of the green, hit a horrible drive on 18, and then knocked it up to the front. And the pin was all the way back. I needed about 2-putt, and I lagged it up there like a champ to about a foot.
Beautiful.
And that was it. Little tie. Tie.
Well, by the way, what does Kid think when we call him a sandbagger?
I don't think Z wants it on the record for future summer earnings. That's
No
what I
way. I end up
think.
we
'Cause you probably
we
partner with
tossed
him a lot.
Listen, there was a time in my life when
Yeah.
the kid and I played every round together as a team, and I had became the master of the ball throw, the ball toss. So you could give me the ball in any combination in my hand, and I could get R2 together. I perfected it. I worked
Yeah.
at it. But now we play it straight up. So the balls are tossed. If it's a tossing, it's a total blind tossing. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it's been legit. No, he has the capability to be significantly better than his handicap. There's no doubt about it. But that's what happens when you're a 14 who can play.
Yeah.
You can be way better than your handicap. I mean,
And he plays about 275 rounds a year, so that helps.
I feel like
Feels
it.
like.
no,
Feel like it.
no. He's
Feels
not
like it.
even in the top 10 of people who live in the city of Cleveland who play the most golf. Like not even close.
He's number 1 on the list of people that I tangentially know who play the most.
Well, I'll introduce you to my friend Novak. That guy plays more golf than anybody
yeah.
in the world.
By the way, Memorial, is it the 11th hole that's a par 3? Or the
12.
12th?
12.
I've parred that hole.
Oh,
It's a brutal hole.
I ended up on the back,
Oh,
hill
it
down,
came-
chipped out of the rough,
Oh, God.
checked up perfectly, and rolled within about
Chip,
6
you
inches
hit
of
it
the cup.
back and got it to stop?
Yeah,
Usually that's a gone.
correct. That's
It's a gorgeous
I parred
hole. Yeah.
2 or 3 holes there.
That hole sucks the life out of me. It always does because the 11 beats me up and then I go to 12 and it's like, come on. It's usually they make you
18
play that from the tips, so it's like
Yeah, exactly.
205 or whatever. Great.
18, I've played. The first 2 or 3 shots are great, and then it's just one big implosion because around the green is just
Well,
awful.
straight up.
Yeah.
A little walking straight up the hill to
Yeah.
get to the green. Yeah, that's pure joy.
Yeah.
All right. Final hour. Up next, we'll get into the NFL. We'll go around the league. In fact, there's some news and notes there. We've got some a power poll that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Plus, Cade York from Rookie Minicamp. Do you have a quick note
We
before
also
we go
have
to
to
break?
talk about. Have you seen the PGA Championship pairing?
No, but we'll talk about it. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Are your business operations suffering from an internal communications breakdown? Well, I've got an answer for you. It's my friends at EOX Vantage, data scientists, business operations experts. Your EOX Vantage team helps you build a streamlined communication system that brings together your email, chat, intranet announcements, CRM into one clear flow. Your people, including those who work remotely, gain a centralized hub that encourages collaboration. There is no more disconnected communications methods that leave team members out of the loop or not in the same place. Real everyday business problems get solved with my friends at EOX Vantage. See how other business owners are getting everyone on the same page by visiting EOXVantage.com for more. We have a special listener. Bernie is listening, and he needs some information, so let's get him. It's the information that he covets.
All right, Bernie. We appreciate you tuning in, as always. Look forward to talking with you soon. But right now, the PGA Championship has announced a first-round trio.
So they're not doing foursomes, they're doing trios?
And yeah, in the first round. Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
In tournaments, I think they usually do. They'll do some trios, never a foursome.
Never four. No, that's true. Yeah.
Tiger Woods.
I know him.
Rory McIlroy.
Familiar.
And the betting favorite, Jordan Spieth.
That's pretty good. That's playing the hits.
9:11 a.m. Thursday, 2:36 in the afternoon, Friday.
Ooh, that Friday's going to be nice.
Oh, it's going to be tasty.
It's going to be really
nice. It's going to be tasty. It's going to be like 90 degrees outside here.
Yeah.
Might want to stay inside, get a little AC, or maybe kick back on a fan-covered patio, watch Bootsy have a swim.
Bring a TV outside, maybe float in the pool. Having a soak, watching it. Maybe that's the win.
Yeah. I'll see you there.
If I wasn't in Canton at lacrosse all night on Friday, that's pretty good.
You're saying lacrosse is what's standing between us and transformative turkey and pool watching of Tiger Woods? That seems outrageous.
Bootsy would agree.
Shame on lacrosse.
Shameful. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
We'll do that. We'll break it down.
Expectations high.
Yeah, we'll break it down a little later in the week with Tiger where that is concerned. As we go around the league here to start the second hour of the program, Tom Brady has a deal with Netflix. He'll be the subject of a roast. What do you think he's up to? What's he doing? Does he hate his family? I've never seen anybody who gets into more stuff to take him out of the house than this guy. I mean, it's a stunning amount to stay busy.
Yeah.
He's locked up like he was retired for a month, right back in. He's got a 10-year contract with Fox as soon as he's done playing. He's doing the Netflix thing. He's got some movie that's out there. He's on social media all the time. He's probably doing more of those challenges this summer on the golf course. Like, hey, man, lay low. Sit an off season out, man. He's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But do you think it's just freedom of Belichick? Like he was finally free?
He's out of the yoke.
He's out. Took it out.
He's like, I'm out. I'm amazed. What we got 80 and Brady filming. He's had a couple of IG stories from the filming of that, which is, if you were to say Tom Brady was going to pursue a film,
right?
And it's going to be about 4 80-year-old ladies traveling the country to watch play football. I don't know that I would believe you.
Why would anyone think that's how to do it? Why would anyone be like,
movie.
What's the audience for that? Who are they trying to get?
Not us.
I would think that any movie with Brady, we would be the chosen audience, right? We'd be the intended audience.
Yeah.
I would think. That would be it. What are you dealing with over here?
Absolute nonsense.
You got something going on.
Well, we got the gauntlet for the gold, AIW. It's their 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal this Saturday at the Tadmore Shrine in Akron. So
they ought to get like a name in here.
They should get a banner.
They got to get a banner in here.
Well, the winner of that will face the champion at Absolution, likely to be the Broski.
Well, there you go.
Matt Cardona.
Do you think it's a thing that Jesse Bates says he will not plan to play under the franchise tag?
No.
I don't think it is either. It's too early.
No, it's way too early. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones in the Football Morning in America piece. Did you see this? He thinks the Cowboys are worth $10 billion?
Yeah, I bet he's not wrong.
Of course he's not wrong. They're the most valuable sports franchise in America. They have been for a long time. For the kids out there was a time that the Washington football team was in that mix.
Absolutely.
That was a case. 25 years ago, that was a case. They were one of those teams that were worth the most, and it's been the Cowboys by a wide margin.
Might even be 40 years, 30.
No,
35?
it was definitely when Forbes was doing those lists, and it would
They
come
would be at the
out,
top?
and they would be right there at the top.
Right after like Snyder bought them.
Yeah, right
Okay.
then, because they had the brand new stadium that sat 90,000, and they owned it, and it was they were everything that comes with at the time being the
Stadium
Washington
is not
Redskins.
great.
It's terrible.
It's not great.
Absolutely
Yeah.
terrible. But Jerry's saying the Cowboys are worth $10 billion, but he would never sell. He bought them for $150 million. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Not bad ROI.
That's pretty good.
Better than the crypto markets right now, that ROI.
I try to tell you guys on the crypto, stay out of that stuff.
I don't get it.
If I don't
It's
understand
not real.
it, you can't invest. I don't understand it. You don't know what are we selling?
We don't know.
What do we do? Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything on that front. Here's a pop quiz for you. Today is we talked about it being the NBA draft lottery, which is tonight. After this will be game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm excited to watch this. It's tonight, Celtics and Heat. Okay. This is a game that on your, if you look in the guide, it'll say it starts at 8:30, but it's not. It's going to tip like 8:47. Okay. 8:47. So you say to yourself, okay, well, that's to pacify West Coast, right? We got to do this always. By the way, you can't get 2 more Eastern teams, as I mentioned yesterday. So let me ask you this. What percentage of United States population do you believe is in the Eastern time zone?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
It will not have Texas. It will not have Chicago. It will not obviously have the great state of California.
Indy, St. Louis, Kansas City.
All of it. You've
Yep.
got the Eastern Seaboard. Tarver. There he is.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good. I'm going to say you are going to account for 32% of the nation's population.
Gibbe, on your birthday, do you have a guess?
Sure, I'm sure it's wrong.
Don't look it up.
East Coast only.
Yes. Eastern.
22.
Okay. What percentage of the United States population do you think is in the Eastern and Central time zones? Combined now. So now I'm asking you to combine them.
I'm going to say 65.
So based on that, you believe that there are
Can I read-
43%
Hold
of
on.
the U.S. population is in the Central time zone?
Yes.
Hold
Hold
on. The Eastern.
I'm going to revise mine. I'm going to go with 42, and then I'm going to go with a total of 70.
So you're right there, too.
You're at
Calling out my
28.
numbers.
Well, you just have
Yeah,
a lot
but
more
you're
population in the
central,
Central
yeah.
than Eastern.
You got Texas.
right. Okay.
I got Chicago.
All right, here's what I'm going to tell you. This is going to blow your minds. So 50% of the U.S. population is in the Eastern time zone. 50% is in
I
the
was
Eastern
off on
time
that
zone.
number. I told you that.
Yeah. 30% is in the Central. 80% of the United States population is in the Central and Eastern time zone.
80. And what did I
80%.
say, 70?
California then has like 12,
Yeah.
and the Mountain has like 6. Or maybe California. No, Pacific has 14, Mountain has 6%.
There's a reason that West
So
Coast
then,
teams
so
are
you tell
out of
me,
the- yeah.
you tell me,
Sure.
why are we acquiescing to them? If 50% of the United States population is in the East, why in the hell are we tipping games at 8:47 in the East, played between 2 Eastern teams? Why are we doing that? If 80% is in those 2 time zones, why are we
Correct.
doing that?
Stupidity.
There must be some metric
And by the way, it's
somewhere.
only going to get worse here. NBA Finals games won't tip till 9:15.
But why? What are you trying to reach? What's the metric that they're chasing that leads them to believe that this works? It clearly does. I'm missing something.
It doesn't, though. You think about the disparity in coverage. Like, there is the East Coast, but because it's so much bigger, to your point.
I'm talking
so
about
why would they do
so
this?
why would they do this?
Maybe they feel like they need to.
I guess.
Maybe
I just
there's
think it's
something from-
nonsensical. There's got to be some data point that they point to that says this is why, and this is how we get the most people to watch. I don't know what it is, but there's no reason for this game to not tip at the very least 7:30 tonight. None.
Right. I agree with that. I wonder, this is something, and I don't know the answer to this. Do they run different ads? Obviously, I know they're geographically placed ads, but
Yeah.
different themed ads. Think about it. They can run with one thing. They can appeal to different, probably, audiences with later night themed ads and primetime
Maybe.
ads.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know what it is. I think
It
it's
has to do something to there must be something in it that they
something about
maximize.
money.
Clearly financially motivated. And
Yes.
clearly it's something about they've done the research and this is how we get the most people to watch.
Correct.
But
Correct.
it's awful. Absolutely awful. All right, we will do a league power poll from ESPN that is coming up next. A little bit later, you'll hear Cade York, our new kicker. He has spoken to Phil Dawson, and you'll hear from him coming up shortly. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey guys, be sure to check out Browns Live Meet the Rookies, presented by Vivid Seats, hosted by Z. It's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, clevelandbrowns.com, the Browns mobile app, on the Browns YouTube channel. Hear from the newest members of the Cleveland Browns roster with exclusive interviews. The Browns Live Meet the Rookies, presented by Vivid Seats, Wednesday at 7, tomorrow at 7. I'll be having my first Friday cocktail and watch that on the DVR after I pick the kids up. I look forward to it very, very much, as I know all of you will. This from our friends at ESPN. So they have a power poll. What is the point here? This is ESPN NFL Nation? Our guy Trotter's involved with this.
Trotter's involved. Your sunglasses are on the ground. Careful.
What is this justification for having a 17th?
17th. He doesn't really give – and we've gone down one after free agency.
We've gotten worse.
We're worse. The Browns entered the draft without a first-round pick, then traded out of the second round despite a needed wide receiver. Cleveland finally added one near the end of the third, selecting David Bell from Purdue. Bell was ultra-productive in college, play a big role in the Browns' offense, but would likely be operating out of the slot and underneath coverage. That should allow Peoples-Jones to remain a starter opposite Amari Cooper. And though the Browns could still add another receiver, they'll be counting on DPJ to play significant snaps next season. They're saying he is the player who benefited the most from what we have done this offseason. I don't understand how we're worse.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's fine. You know what these things are? They don't matter.
Well, that's I didn't want to focus as much on the rankings as much as the players that benefited. I thought it was interesting on a few of those teams and the players that benefited from the draft and free agency.
All right, so for example, like they have the Rams 2, and they have Stafford benefiting the most from the draft because they got a couple of offensive linemen, right? They got Brady benefiting the most, Frank Clark benefiting the most in Kansas City. Packers, they have at 5. Kenny Clark benefiting the most there. Some of these teams are nonsense. Are you telling me?
I think, I don't know.
You're gonna try and tell me. You look at some of these teams. You're telling me the Patriots and the Eagles are better than us.
Hey, we've got to prove it. We're a team that historically,
I think.
We haven't done well with hype 2 years in a row, so fine. The last 2 times we've been hyped have not been great. Fine, unhype us. Doesn't matter.
Struggling with that chair over there.
Well, someone sat in it and it gets embedded in the carpet.
Mo Bedman's cousin.
It gets embedded and you can't get the thing.
You can't
to move.
extricate yourself.
No, you get locked in. You get locked in.
Yeah.
This is. I'll tell you what this is going to be for. Honestly, for Browns fans, no one's going to. We are going to be for. We were world's team, all the joy, all of that because of everything in the offseason. We are going to be a team that a lot of people are going to want to see have success. And this is something that Ohioans do all the time. They do it at Ohio State. Ohio State fans do it. It drives me nuts. They'll act like, oh, everybody hates the Buckeyes. No, everyone loves the Buckeyes. They can't get enough of the Buckeyes. Everybody loves the Browns. I can't wait to put us on TV, right? For the years we've been doing this show, if there was an opportunity to put us on primetime, they do. And what happens? Browns fans watch. Because everybody in this country, I feel like, has a tie to Ohio.
Yep.
So there is a tremendous following and support and love. That will not be there this year. It won't be there. It'll be the opposite feeling. This will be a simple case where if you're looking for a year where you just can't wait to play the games, this is that year. This is that year. There's not going to be a lot of fun around training camp. We'll have fun, but there won't. We're going to have a ball.
Yeah.
Provided I'm allowed. But the rest of the people,
you'll be there.
The rest of the people, it's different. Everybody else, it's going to be wanting this all to fail. This was an audacious play for Deshaun.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not liked by a lot. The Baker part of it, all of it. We are not going to be everybody's favorite little cuddly team. We're not going to be. That was shown in the schedule release. It's going to be shown in the lead-up. Most will root against us. And fine. That's fine. It's fine. But that's something to be prepared for. And that when you play, that's what you wait for. I can't wait for the games. The lead-up.
Same.
If you want outside noise is not going to be a lot of fun for the next few months for Browns fans.
And that's fine. You know what I like about it? We're doing team building. We're doing bonding. Deshaun, I've talked to a couple guys on the offense they are thrilled to be going on this trip, and rightfully so. I'd be thrilled to be going on this trip as well. It sounds like it's going to be just a tremendous time. Why did we not take
Browns Daily on the road?
We weren't invited to go.
But we should have pitched it.
No. It's like the sweatshirt. You got to be invited.
We wait to be invited to things. We're never going to have sweatshirts, and we're always going to do shows out of here.
Gibbe, do you know what? Write this down. Do you have a pen?
Do you have a pen?
Yep. Thinking about how I'm going to stab you with it.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
It's amazing.
Well, open mouths don't seem to be getting you a whole lot of food either these days.
Oh, listen, I'm not the one facing a lifetime ban from the cafe, so I don't know what you're talking about.
By the way,
if that happens tomorrow, I will die.
It's in play. It is in play.
It's 100% in play. Yes.
I sent a note up the food chain. There are a lot of luminaries that are copied on it. I will show it to you later. It is hysterical.
Oh my God.
Have there been any responses?
No.
Rule number 176: never put anything down in writing that can be traced back to you.
No. I want this. No, because it's going. I don't.
It's about
need
drawing
a
line in the sand, dude.
I don't need a memo going out. Like, don't worry. You just need to come to me because the complaint filed will be about me. So here it is, and this is why.
This is how it happened.
This is what happened.
All right.
Like, I'm not going looking for trouble.
No.
I just want a little piece of food.
That's all.
You did.
A morsel.
Fine.
Just a morsel.
I'm going to get it, damn it.
You will.
You did.
Boy, did you. You won, yeah.
Boy, did you. Hope it was tasty.
That is fantastic.
All
right. There you go. Good stuff. All right. We got Cook coming up next. Is that what we're doing?
Cade York, you mean?
I'm sorry. Cade York. Put his first name and his last name, sort of made it together. Cook. I was thinking about something. There was a little thing dropped here on this. I gotta get dialed in.
All right, go back to the ESPN thing.
Yeah.
Do we agree that Donovan Peoples-Jones is the one that benefits the most here?
Yeah, as of right now, he would be a starter for sure in 3 receiver sets and potentially in 2 receiver sets. I look, DPJ, when you average over 11 targets over 2 seasons in the league, you can play. There's no doubt. And with a better quarterback, I think that Donovan Peoples-Jones will be even better. I would like to see Anthony Schwartz step up. I would like to see the Browns, maybe this Isaiah Weston kid. He's got very good vertical speed. But we need that guy. We still do not have that top off the defense guy. You drafted Anthony Schwartz to be that. Now Will Fuller's out there. He would be somebody that would fit that bill that teams have to scheme for. Now the good news for us is that teams are going to have to scheme to stop Deshaun Watson anyway because he's that good, and we've got very talented players. We also are now going to be running the ball against light boxes, which is something we've never done.
No, never.
So this is going to be, I think we're going to be a very productive offense. I just want to see somebody step up. I want to see that speed and see that come because that is the one thing that separates us, I believe, right now from just an on-paper standpoint from the teams that are amongst the scariest in the NFL is that vertical component.
When we had the general on, he mentioned how good Deshaun was with subpar receivers. They didn't win a lot of games that year in Houston.
They didn't have
he was
have
great.
A complete team that
of course
got.
not. And I know they didn't. But my point is that they didn't win a lot of games that year in Houston. He was sensational that year. Certainly not on him. Did not have a complete team, I acknowledge. But also, the AFC now, you think about the teams you got to beat. I think we need another guy. I do. In that room. I do. They may not. They're a lot smarter than me. State school, Ivy League, very different. But I feel like there needs to be another guy, and I think that's the guy you're describing. It's it's not the underneath guy. It is
the
go
guy.
Yeah,
that's going to take
go.
Safeties, open up the deep crosses.
Maybe Schwartz can be that.
He was drafted.
He was drafted to be that.
Yeah,
we got a long way.
He's got to make a big jump this year.
Yeah, certainly does. Tickets for all Cleveland Browns home games are now on sale. For more information, visit clevelandbrowns.com. Cade York coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. and operated company. Whether you join them as a customer, as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit Rumpke.com to learn more. Is that when sometimes you have me down and I feel like I can hear but I can't?
Yes.
I didn't have you down.
You had the mic potted down?
I had you muted. So when you checked it, you probably could hear yourself. But again, the way the board, if you think it's configured weird in there, where do you get a load of this one?
Wait till I get a load of me. That's the Joker, right? Nicholson and the Joker.
Yep.
Wait till they get a load of me. All right. Wait till we get a load of Cade York. Here he is from Brown's rookie minicamp. Let's have a listen.
How was kicking it?
You're down.
It was awesome. Got to get in there, see what the wind was like, and kick a few balls.
Probably not much wind on a day like this.
No, it was pretty nice. It was nicer than most games at LSU, honestly. So excited to see what it's like when it's windy.
I know there's been a lot of conversation about kicking here and the weather and talking to people. Have you yet talked to Phil Dawson?
I have talked to Phil Dawson.
What kind of advice has he given you?
He just kind of went through some of the stuff he did, plant cleats, talked about the wind a little bit, different types of conditions. Everyone has their own style of going about things, but it was cool to pick his brain about a few things.
He explained his flag to you?
He did say that people be mentioning his flag. Yeah.
What did you
Friday after the draft, so like a week from today, we go today, I think, something like that.
Was it a long talk?
It's a good 30, 40 minutes. Yeah, talked about it a lot.
Do you think you guys might meet up in person?
I'm sure we will eventually. I know he's in Austin, so he's doing his own thing, but I'm sure at some point we'll cross paths.
Hey, what goes into the confidence of making a kicker successful?
You do it all the time, so every field goal is the same, whether it's out here on the field, in the stadium today, or in the stadium on Sundays. So you just build up confidence over time, and your muscle memory takes over.
What did Phil tell you about the weather and the wind and the dog pounding and all that?
He just mentioned, there's going to be days that's going to be tough. You just got to go out there and hit a true ball. You got to be okay with not hitting it right down the middle every time, and just have confidence in what you do, and not every kick's going to be the same.
Have you become a weatherman?
Something like that.
Fans have just seemed so excited that they drafted you, which obviously doesn't happen every time a kicker gets drafted. I guess just what have you been hearing from people on social media or anything like that, and what does it mean to you that there's this level of excitement surrounding them taking you?
I mean, it's been nothing but support, and yeah, obviously people were talking we need a kicker, stuff like that. But to be honest, none of that matters right now. What matters is I'll go out there, get better right now, and get out there and start making kicks, because really that support doesn't mean anything until it's deserved and I'm making field goals. So.
Okay, you told us it happened fast, like you going from a soccer player to having scholarship offers. Was there one camp or one moment where it turned for you?
I'd say I went to a Coles camp in December of my junior year that I really got noticed. Things turned around, had a real good day. I don't think I really missed a kick that day, and got ranked number 1 after that. And after that, started getting the attention of coaches, and then suddenly realized wow, take a full ride in football, or take a 50% scholarship to some private school that's still going to cost $30,000. So took the football option and haven't looked back since.
What kind of a soccer player were you?
I was a center back that could kick the ball pretty hard, and had a good shot. So sometimes I played up top when we needed a goal or something, but mostly center back. I used to be a bully in sport, and now I'm a kicker. So.
Were you the penalty kicks guy? Did you have that leg?
Say that again.
Were you the penalty kicks guy? Were you?
I was one of those guys. I would take the goal kicks every once in a while if we didn't have a keeper that could, but I did take penalty kicks too.
Right after they drafted you, they let the guys go that they had here. We always hear from Andrew Berry about competition. They're always looking to drive competition at positions, but you come in and they've basically given you the car keys. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think they know my mentality, and I'm a very competitive person, and not only am I compete with other people, but I'm compete with myself, and I think they know that, and I think that they want to give me a space to work on what I need to work on, and very thankful for that. But just because there's no one here I'm competing with in the facility, doesn't mean I'm not competing with every other kicker in the country. So.
You mentioned the mental part of the game a lot. How do you hone that? How do you work on that craft?
That is definitely the hardest part of the game. It's just something you build up confidence over time, and you know that even though you might have one bad kick, it doesn't mean that everything else is bad. It's just something was off on that one. And there's a part of it that you just have to have fun with it, and you know that what you're doing out there on Sundays. I almost said Saturdays. It's pretty new. On Sundays is literally the exact same thing you do every time. It's just people in the stands and a few 300-pound guys running at you. So you just got to practice the mental part in practice and create hard situations for yourself in practice, so when you go out there on game days, it's the exact same.
Is a perfectionist, was it hard for you to kind of learn to accept when you would miss one?
It still is, yes. I definitely am a perfectionist to a certain degree, but you also have to be happy with results. So if you hit a bad kick that still goes in, be happy with it. If you hit a good kick that doesn't go in, at least you hit a good ball. You know you're not messing up that bad. It's just something off. And you just got to accept it and move on.
I think after draft you mentioned that when you're kicking in wind, if you make good contact, the wind affects it less.
Yes.
Right? And that's a kind of staple for you.
For sure.
Do you get that from golf too? Are you a golfer? That seems to be true there too.
I am a golfer. I wouldn't say I have control over my golf swing like I do my kicking swing just yet. And it would be bad if they were the same because I'm not a pro golfer. There are days that the wind will affect the ball no matter what, and I'm sure I'm going to start seeing some days like that soon. But the best shot you have is hitting a good ball and hitting it off the right part of the foot, because the better you hit the ball, the faster it's going to go, and the only time the wind starts affecting the ball is once the ball slows down. So you got to hit a good ball.
Aside from like the weather and the ins and outs of the stadium, did you and Phil get into just kind of what football means to the community and the fan base? It's stuff he used to talk about all the time. Did he share any of that with you?
He definitely talked about how Cleveland can be either an amazing place to play or a hard place to play if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and how you basically got to block that out, because everyone has bad days. Even Phil had bad days. So you got to just play the best of your ability and not worry too much about the fans. But it's also a great place to play, just like college, honestly, because Baton Rouge,
30 seconds.
Let me know. So, yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. Do you think kicking in the SEC under such a big environment, does that kind of prepare you for the pressure, if that's the right word?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on a weekly basis, I was kicking in front of 104,000 people. So, yes, those are my own fans, but when we went and played in stadiums, they're all big-time stadiums with fans at college, sometimes even crazier than the fans at NFL, I'm sure. So it definitely is something that prepared me to be where I'm at now.
Are you going to have to work on your kickoffs, or you feel pretty good about it?
I know y'all haven't seen too many of those, but I have very confident in my kickoff abilities. So
you're up.
Love this dude.
Dude, perfect disposition. Perfect disposition to be a kicker. Perfect. And I think he's going to be great. I really do. I think that he has kicked in big moments. He has kicked in big stadiums. He has kicked with the weight of a very passionate fan base on his shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a kicker when they won national championships, so he understands kicking in games of consequence. I like that he's got the little rivalry with McPherson.
Mm-hmm.
The game that he made, that 57-yard through the fog, was to beat Florida. McPherson was there.
At the Swamp.
So I think he's the right guy for this city and for this opportunity. I think that it's smart, whether he believes there's great value or not. He gets us off the charts, talks to Phil. He's got that going, which is good. Everybody's excited about that. AP fired up about it. So I think that you just want to see him come out here and put the ball through the uprights. Kicker is a position very much like what the Hoff said, right? Like the Hoff was great when you were never worried about him. You didn't hear his name that much. Just when it was time for him to protect the quarterback, he did it. Kicker gets a little more accolades, a little more of a spotlight in those important moments when it's time to make that kick. Just put it through the uprights. That's it. Just put it right on through. McPherson, Tucker, Boswell, just in our division. Tucker may be the best ever. McPherson, one heck of a rookie season.
Yes, he did. And several clutch moments. Yeah, I mean, like what game did he call the shot for them? He called it. We're going to the Super Bowl. It was the AFC
Championship game.
Yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl before he went and kicked it.
Yeah, from 50-something.
Yeah, bombed it.
Yeah.
They're really – here's the other thing about that job is they're ultra – to do it at the highest level, it's as competitive as can be, and to be able to get – there aren't those jobs don't come open in the league. They don't. I mean, usually you get one of those, you stick around, and I guess I should clarify that. They don't come open in that league to rookies very often. Usually you bounce around, you find guys. So you get that opportunity, you got to be special. To be drafted here, you've got to be
tried.
special.
Listen, we've
We've tried
tried
a lot of guys.
We drafted Zane Gonzalez, who went on to be a Pro Bowler elsewhere. We drafted Austin Seibert. It has not worked. This team, the reason that people are still talking about, hey, has you talked to Phil Dawson, who last kicked here in 2012, is because there has not been a replacement for Phil Dawson here.
Yeah.
We've had some good moments with Billy Cundiff. We had some good moments with Cody Parkey. But the body of the work and the consistency of what you were hoping for when you drafted a Zane, who did go on to go be a Pro Bowler in Arizona, but now is with Carolina, it just has never materialized here. And I think that is the part of this that is why the specter of Phil Dawson looms so large. You knew Phil Dawson was your kicker. He was your kicker 14 straight years. He was a guy, he came out, he did it at a high level. We haven't had anybody who's been able to do that consistently since then. And so that's what you're looking for. Gibbe, I forgot the name for a brief second. Help me out, and I'm very sad about it. Our guy, Travis Coons. Thank you. And as soon as I turned around and looked at Travis Coons, started off his career, I think it's 18 for 18 or something like that.
Yes.
Most kicks ever start a career right down the pipe. And then, it doesn't work out. He gets blocked on a Monday night, a walk-off. Tough memories. But it's kicking matters in the National Football League. It does. These games are tighter than ever. The momentum that can come or be lost by the failure to make a kick, to make an extra point after an opening touchdown. Think of how many times we've done that. And the momentum it's zapped. I go back, 2019 first game, Tennessee, we scored, right? Missed the extra point, and then it just takes the wind out of your sails. You need reliability. You need a guy that you just believe in.
It so takes the wind out. You miss one of those extra points.
You have this great drive, 9 plays, 10 plays. You go right down the field, and then you doink one off of the field goal post. And you go to break feeling defeated.
Yeah, and it also, like coach obviously, and go get touchdowns. Don't kick field goals. Like, go get touchdowns. That's the idea. But so it's almost like you're settling when you have to attempt one anyway, and then when it misses, God.
Then you spend the rest of the game chasing it potentially.
Yeah, it just stinks. So hopefully that can get sorted out, and his disposition feels like somebody who will be able to. And he's right in terms of the hostile situations that you play in the Southeastern Conference. It's as tough as anywhere in the league.
Yes, because it matters.
Yeah, and because it's oftentimes it's at night. Pretty lubricated, typically.
Yeah.
And you're talking in many instances upwards of 100,000 people. So
big environments.
Big. Yeah. There aren't many environments in the NFL that can match those. That's just the truth of it.
And
he played at LSU, and every time they played, it was a big game on campus.
I go back to there's 2 kickers. There's Phil, and my other favorite guy, Nuge. You get to midfield, and you knew you were going to get points no matter what. At Ohio State. But even he, from an NFL standpoint, he was good. He wasn't great.
Yeah, for sure. But that's it. That's where you're at on those things. All right. So much more to come.
So much.
Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. I see on my Instagram that Frank Severo has just started a live feed. Is there any reason why?
Quesadich.
Hey, Quesadich.
Let me tell you something.
I need you to get back into that conversation again today, Zegura.
I was in it. I had an interaction with him.
When I was out, you were in it.
I had an interaction with him. Yeah.
What did he say?
I told him that he stole the show in The Wedding Singer with that scene. And he was like, "Oh, that was a fun." He goes, "Adam trusted me to ad lib, and he knew I was a method actor."
Method actor.
So Adam, we had a lot of fun.
Did he call you Nathan?
No, he didn't acknowledge him by name.
No,
but he started talking about the message. Now the next step.
is to get a name acknowledgement. But it felt like, to be fair, if I did that, I'd probably have to change my name. Like if it was Natalie, he would have acknowledged the name.
Yes.
Oh, there's a trend.
There's a definite trend there.
That where he's hunting.
That's who he's talking to. But he acknowledged. He appreciated.
In the 20 minutes we watched the other day, I'm not sure there was a male that was acknowledged.
Yes. What a human.
Plenty of females.
What an absolute human.
To which I would say, that's a lot of women that are watching you.
Watching the Frank Severo. Well, that's what he's telling himself too. Why do you think he keeps doing it? He's going to be he'll be in Brookline at the pizzeria. And we'll do this.
We're going to get
the family pasta.
The family
style.
Is good. For $100. Of course you know me.
Of course you know me.
Of course you know me. And then I'm going to listen to
90.
Nathan Zegura. Hey, everybody. Nathan Zegura. Quesadich. Scaramouche. Of course, you know me from Cleveland Browns Daily. 1 to 3 every day. The Kevin Stefanski Show. On the sidelines now in the booth.
That is great. That's great. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we need him to get you.
We need him on the show. I want a summertime Severo.
I don't know if it's the right move, or if it's best that he's at a distance and only admired from afar. I'm worried that the reality of it would disappoint.
You know where he might be good? The BPA.
That would be unbelievable. Yeah. That would be unbelievable.
A real straight interview.
Straight
interview.
A straight
Talk about
interview.
his film history.
A straight interview on the BPA
would be amazing.
Unreal.
I think you're mocking.
No, not.
I feel like you're mocking.
No, straight interviews have happened.
What I do?
There have been straight interviews. That's
PFT.
for sure.
Yeah.
Come on.
Run it back.
Let's go. That
PFT was not on the BPA, just so we're clear.
Should have been.
Felt like it.
Should have been.
Yeah.
All right, next level's next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.